What's going on, y'all? Hey, today I'm going to sit down with my boy Ben Azadi for Spill the Beans. He is an absolute rock star. I've known Ben for several years and actually hired him to do a bunch of nutritional work and all sorts of stuff with me. He knows more about nutrition and health and fasting and all that stuff, more so than almost anybody else that I know. So he's got a huge YouTube following. He's got a business called Keto Camp and does a bunch of coaching and nutrition work for people all around the world. So great guy. We're going to dive into how you can be healthier, which is going to set you up to build more wealth, have more energy, have better relationships, and all the other good stuff in your life. So come check it out. Come meet Ben Azadi. Ben Azadi, what's up, buddy?
Tim, what's up, brother?
Dude, we've known each other for many years now.
Yeah.
Right? 2016, 17 or something. We were speaking at events together.
Yeah. We were at Chris Rude's event.
Yeah, and then got connected. I hired you as a nutritionist and helped put a lot of amazing things in place for me and the family and the kiddos and Kate and things that we're still doing, like the Aura ring that I'm still using today, and the Aquasana in the house, filtering out all the water, and we talked about the glasses, filter out blue light, and all those different kinds of things. So I want to hit on all of that. I also think you have a very fascinating entrepreneurial journey and turning into an influencer in the space too, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we were both kind of getting rolling. Dude, now your YouTube channel is off the chain and just growing rapidly. And I think some of those takeaways would be great for the entrepreneurs who want to scale up that side of things too. So why don't you share a little bit about your background? How did you become an entrepreneur and why did you get into the health space?
Absolutely. I became an entrepreneur through kind of necessity, pain to purpose. So you know my backstory. I was obese, depressed, suicidal. 2008, rock bottom, ready to give up on life, and took responsibility, and that's where the starting point is for great change, right?
Agreed.
Responsibility, which is your ability to respond to life. And at that point, my ability to respond to life was poor. I was the victim, blaming everybody. Mm-hmm. And then I started to get into books, Dr. Wayne Dyer and Tony Robbins and these incredible legends, and it helped me take ownership. Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, these incredible people. And then I went through my own weight loss transformation. I lost 80 pounds, and then I turned that into, okay, everybody's asking me how I did it. Let me create a business out of it. So then I started a business called Shred Fat, and I became a personal trainer, which led to opening up a CrossFit gym, which then eventually evolved to getting certified as a health coach, and then of course rebranding into my company Keto Camp. But it came from pain. It came from solving my own problem, like so many, and then you want to solve the problems of people out there, which this is a big problem to solve. Big time, man.
Yeah. So I want to dive into let's dive into the health stuff first. Let's focus on that, because I know that's the that's a huge impact piece, man, and transcends anybody's industry, anybody's business. Doesn't even matter if you're not a business owner. Like, this is stuff that everybody needs to understand. So talk about like why is it important? How have you seen this change people's lives? Like, are they buying back time? Are they able to live longer? Are they more productive in their time? Like, why is it important, first of all, that people need to be focused on this stuff?
Well, especially for entrepreneurs, because the goal of an entrepreneur is, of course, to scale your business. And then, of course, the business that you're going to scale is going to require years of time to scale that. But what if you don't have that in terms of your life or the quality of life?
Dude, you're just tired all the time. You're lethargic. You got shitty sleep.
Yeah. You're complaining.
You feel sick every time you eat, you know?
When I interviewed Patrick Bet-David, he said the bigger the mission, the more energy required. And I'm like, yeah, the more energy required, the more health that needs to be prioritized.
Exactly.
So if you have a big mission, your health should be a priority, and it actually will help you scale. Because what good is it if you're scaling up your business but your health is in decline?
Well, the problem that I always see is that it's not quantifiable. It doesn't give a direct ROI, so people don't give it the attention that it needs.
Yeah.
And the reality is, it'll have a bigger impact on your ROI than almost anything else, right? Like, personal development, mindset development, and your health, like, those two things will impact your ROI more than anything else. But because the health piece doesn't have a direct ROI to it, people neglect it, you know, and they get busy and they put other things in place. So, like, let's hit on a lot of that stuff. I want to talk, you know, in my eyes, I think, you know, there's environmental, right? All the environmental type stuff that we can do in order to eliminate some of the bad things in the environment. There's obviously our fitness of exercise and working out and burning calories and physical movement. And then there's the dietary. What am I missing? Anything else?
Yeah, and then the environmental will be the toxicity part, so we could throw it in there. And then the mindset part, but we won't have to get into that because you talk a lot about that. But to pick up where you left off, like you're right. When you make a bad decision with your health, it doesn't show up right away. It's an accumulation.
Right.
So what I would tell the entrepreneurs out there to kind of wake you guys up and gals up is that just look at the stats out there with disease. 1 in 2 men are diagnosed with cancer, women 1 in 3. That's according to the CDC.
Insane,
like if you don't make a change, that's your predictable future. And it's diabetes, it's obesity, it's Alzheimer's.
I was gonna say, what's causing it? Like, what are the main factors that are creating that?
It's several, but I'm gonna list the top ones for your audience to just eliminate. So I believe we got to remove before we replace.
I love it.
And I'll talk about the remove, right?
Agreed.
So I interviewed Dr. Kay Shanahan. She's a medical doctor. She was the nutritionist for the Lakers when Kobe Bryant used to play. So she was Kobe's nutritionist. And I gave her 3 scenarios that are leading to inflammation and disease. And I said, which scenario is worse? Scenario number 1 was smoking cigarettes every single day. Scenario number 2 was eating processed sugar. Scenario number 3 was eating vegetable oils every single day. I said, which one's worse? She said, it's easy, Ben, vegetable oils.
She'd rather see somebody smoke cigarettes every single day than eat vegetable oils.
Yeah.
Which vegetable oils? All vegetable oils? Any cooking oil? Like, what does that look like?
Well, she'd rather nobody smoke, but if there was that was the option, then yes, she would choose.
Yeah. Understood.
She said, here's what she said. She said, smoking's not good for you, but once you finish the last puff, the damage is done. Sugar's not good for you, but you could exercise and burn it off. These vegetable oils stay stuck in your cells and cause inflammation for 2 to 5 years. Meaning the half-life, you remove them today, the half-life is 2 years from now, 680 days, they're still in your body. They are canola, corn oil, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, grapeseed oil, and rice bran oil. They're highly inflammatory and they just create inflammation, low-grade inflammation. And it's one of the leading causes to disease out there.
Dude, everything is made with those oils.
Most of the things are.
Like the ones you didn't say, which were the good ones, right, are olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil.
Yep.
Coconut oil,
butter,
right?
ghee, duck fat, lard, real lard. That's not hydrogenated.
Those are all good.
Those are all good. So here's what I do. And if you're an entrepreneur and you eat out a lot, which I do myself.
I do all the time.
I just tell the waiter and waitress, I'm like, look, me and my fiance or whoever is at this table, we're allergic to vegetable oils. Can you cook in real olive oil, real butter? And they usually say, yeah, but you got to say you're allergic. Otherwise, they're not going to really listen to you. But I tell them I'm allergic, and that's how I don't take that hit.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's not worth it.
So, all right. When was the last time you had vegetable oils?
Knowingly?
Yeah.
It's been years.
Years.
Yeah.
Have you seen your metrics change on like your blood panels and health and that
Absolutely,
kind of stuff?
yeah. Not just that, but how I feel and my energy. I feel the best I've ever felt in my life. I'm 38 years old, and I feel better than when I was 28 years old. But you will see it in your metrics. You see it in your inflammatory markers. You see it in all your markers, yeah.
So break that down for me. Why are vegetable oils, why do they leave the inflammation into the system? Tell me on a cellular level, can you explain that?
You want me to go deep into this?
Yeah, let's go
okay.
deep.
So the chemical structure of these oils, these fats, are called polyunsaturated fats.
All right.
So people call them
which
PUFAs.
we've seen on the back of these nutritional panels on
Correct.
the food calories and all that stuff, right?
Dude, and if you go to the supermarket, the American Heart Association puts their stamp of approval on them. Okay? Dr. Kay Shanahan called the American...
Crazy.
I know. She called them, the American Heart Association, the biggest fake news propaganda organization in America, dude. Because they get paid billions of dollars just to put that stamp of approval, even though it's killing people, leading to heart disease.
Straight scam.
It's a straight up scam. So the chemical structure has many of these double bonds. And all you need to know is that when you have a lot of double bonds in a chemical structure, it attracts a lot of oxygen. The more aggressive a molecule attracts oxygen and oxidizes. So think of if I bit into an apple and left it here and came back 5 hours later, it will turn brown, right? That's kind of what it's doing to your cells. So they integrate into your membrane.
So too much oxygen coming in without having the right protective coating, right, ends up rotting
the cells.
That cell.
They go into your fat. They get stuck in your fat because there are toxins, and toxins love fat. In the body, the solution to pollution is dilution. So it makes you fatter. So these fat cells are enlarged, so these toxins, these vegetable oils could go into. But the reason they're so bad is because when you look at the processing of them, all you got to do is go on YouTube and type in how canola oil is made. It's disgusting. It is a chemical shitstorm, and it shows you exactly how it's made. And it's a 10-minute video, and it's disgusting. That's why they're so bad for you.
Oh, man. All right. So most important thing, number one thing, is get the processed oils, processed vegetable oils out of your diet.
As much as possible. Even if like you are 20% bad, that's still going to help you out tremendously. The human body is adaptable and it could kind of recover from that. But if you're eating them every single day, that's the issue right there.
Fried foods, right, are always...
Unless it's in coconut oil or avocado oil, that would be better for fried food. But in general, yeah, fried food you'd want to avoid.
So fried foods, pretty much all fried foods. And then if you're going out or if you're cooking in your own, like we only cook with avocado oil and extra virgin olive oil. Yeah. That's it.
And if you go to restaurants, you could ask them to grill it or bake it or find other methods where they're not using too many oils.
Yeah, and but dude, the hard part, and we had this conversation early on, was like, I got these two little kids, and they like to eat all these snacks and all this garbage, and everything is made with those oils, with the canola oils and the vegetable oils and all those things. And like we had to go through an entire process of clearing the pantry from all that stuff and finding the healthy alternatives.
First of all, I love that you did that. Like that's exactly what an amazing parent would do. And not all parents get this information. I give it to them, but they don't always do what you just did. So you're doing your kids a big blessing right there.
And I think what people don't realize is like there are healthy alternatives to all those different things, right? Like you can get potato chips, or you can get potato chips made with avocado oil.
Correct.
You can get whatever, cheese puffs, or you can get cheese puffs made with avocado oil.
It just takes a little bit of your due diligence, which you're all about due diligence, right? You just look at the ingredients, right, and make sure it just doesn't have those inflammatory ones that I mentioned. So you just got to read the ingredients.
Yeah, and so what are some tools and places that people can go in order to look up, the health factor, or where they can go? Like, you go to Whole Foods, right? That's going to be better than shopping at Walmart.
Yes.
Are there online resources? Are there, places that you can order groceries from that are healthier than ordering them from a standard grocery store or some corner store?
Yeah, there's Thrive Market.
We order a lot of stuff from there. That's where we get almost all groceries.
Thrive Market, most of the stuff on there is pretty good. There are still some products that have vegetable oils, unfortunately. But most of them don't. So Thrive Market is great. It's kind of like Costco meets Whole Foods, and it's like a membership. There's also, if you eat meat, which I do recommend, we could talk about that, but US Wellness Meats delivers like grass-fed, grass-finished meat. Whole Foods is okay. You could go to Whole Foods and find some good options, but I would avoid the hot food bar at Whole Foods and just read the ingredients on those packages.
Yeah, that's all good stuff, man. And isn't there like, I think there's like a website or an app that you can look up. I mean, we're talking about food type stuff right now, but I guess we're moving into more of like, one of the biggest things that people don't realize is, dude, think about all the stuff that we put on our skin.
The toxins, yeah.
The toxins, the environmental type stuff usually, but like the water that you're bathing in. Mm-hmm. People don't even think about that, but there's chemicals that in the pipes that get into your water system that you're then putting all over your body, and you're brushing your teeth with, and you're washing your face with it. And that to me was like, and that's your biggest organ that you have in your body, is your skin. So it's like you're absorbing that, and what, like the lotion that you're putting on, the sunscreen you're putting on, the deodorant you're putting on, the shampoo that you use, the stuff that you wash your clothes in, all of those things typically have toxins of some sort in them, right?
Yeah, and the website is ewg.org or
EWG.
Yeah, or there's an app for it where you could type in the product and it'll give you a score of toxicity.
Yeah, is it like Think Dirty?
Think Dirty is another one. Yeah.
Okay.
EWG is another good one. So Think Dirty is good too. But you're right. So there's birth control pills in that water. There's medication. There's drugs. And if you're drinking tap water, like you're drinking that. But if you're taking a shower with it and brushing your teeth, to your point, you're still getting that when it touches your skin. And that's a big issue. So it's a simple fix, right? You just add a shower filter. If you want to put a whole house filter, that's ideal. But a shower filter would be a good idea.
Dude, I got a whole house Aquasana.
That's the way to do it.
And there's a couple different ones. I think there's one that's like $800, and then it goes up to like
that's not bad.
$2,500.
Yeah,
dude, $800 is
so worth it, dude.
Is nothing, and the water tastes better, right? It removes all the shitty minerals.
And there's heavy metals too.
Minerals. The heavy metals. That's what I meant. The bad heavy metals and all that stuff out of
lead,
it.
Yeah.
And then you can add in the good, like what I get, those little like mineral like supplement drops, and I just add that in now because it takes out the good stuff too. But
you remineralize the water because it gets rid. It's a reverse osmosis, so it gets rid of everything. So you want to add the minerals back in. So high quality like electrolyte drops of salt, perfect.
Yeah. And so like, dude, I paid $800 to order it. I paid a plumber $300 to install it at the water main, and now we can drink out of the faucets. We can brush our teeth out of the faucets. We can shower without feeling bad. Like everything's good to go in the house, and that's an easy fix that we were able to do. So like that, I think, is a big one that people can implement.
Fantastic tip. I agree. Yes.
And then what else? Like going to the Think Dirty app or what is it?
EWG.org.
EWG.org. And being able to look up all the things that you're already using. And for me, man, you can go totally granola and get, rub leaves on your underarm, right? But it doesn't work the same way that
that's correct.
Some sort of Procter & Gamble product might work, but Procter & Gamble product is going to have all this garbage in it. So it's like, what works? And so finding something that's maybe 3 out of 10, but actually works.
Correct.
Have you ever heard of Underarmed?
No, I haven't heard of that.
That's the one that I use now, and allegedly it's good for you. So.
Is it like deodorant or?
Yeah, deodorant.
Oh, okay, got it. No, I haven't heard of that.
So that's the one that I use now. It works amazing, and
that's
allegedly
good.
It's very, very clean.
You want to stay away from aluminum and phthalates and all the toxic stuff that's in these products, dude. I agree.
What about what are you washing your clothes in and that kind of stuff? Yeah,
exactly. So that's probably the biggest thing because people are using these Tide and detergents that are super toxic.
And dude, you're washing your sheets in it and sleeping on them.
You're
spending 8
essentially
hours.
24 hours a day you're breathing it in, to your point. Because either you're sleeping in your bed with your sheets or you're wearing your clothes. So I use a company called, they're called My Green Fills, and it's 100% non-toxic. There's also like essential oils you can do. 7th Generation is also a good option that's more available. So
Kate uses that a lot.
Yeah, 7th Generation
has the Green Fills one too.
Yeah, My Green Fills is great because they send you a monthly supply. You just add it with water. It's a simple fix right there. Yeah. Another hidden source of toxicity that most people don't understand or they're not aware of is actually with their mouth. Silver fillings, silver amalgam fillings. If you're an entrepreneur and you have a silver amalgam filling, that's vaporizing mercury into your brain every single day, which is going to cause inflammation in your body. Silver fillings are toxic.
Turn into the Mad Hatter, dude.
That's exactly it, right? For those who understand, the Mad Hatters, they had Mad Hatter's disease. They went crazy, right?
Because they used to shine their hats, their top hats, with mercury, so that way they shine better.
They went mad.
It absorbed into their head, and that's why they all went psycho.
So if you have silver fillings, don't just get them out, removed from a regular dentist. Find a biological dentist. Here's a great resource for you to find one. It's www.iaomt.org, and you could find one that performs safe amalgam removal. But that's a big one right there.
So removing. Why do you have to go to that kind of dentist instead of a normal dentist?
Because if you go to a regular dentist and they don't have a proper procedure for removing them safely, the proper way, you could actually get exposed to mercury even more if they just yank it out without the procedures in place.
Got it.
It's a toxin and it needs to look like a hazmat scene. So I had 8 of them in my mouth for 20 plus years.
Holy cow.
So when I went to my biological dentist, it was like a hazmat scene. I was covered up. He had a suction machine with ozone, and that's the way it needs to be. So you're not reabsorbing it as they remove it the right way.
Yeah.
And then you detox it out after it's gone. That's what you want to do. Yeah.
Man, so much crazy stuff, dude. Like but it makes sense why everybody, like, it's just toxins after toxins after toxins that we're putting into our body all day.
It astonishes me how incredible the human body is.
I was just going to say, how are we not dead way earlier?
That's how God built the body strong, bro. It's amazing.
It's insane to me. But dude, you put this many toxins in it, and I forget where I was watching this or heard someone talking about this, but it's like, all right, dude, you have all these toxins, and the body's like, well, shit, I need to throw this up because this is disgusting. Mm-hmm. And then you have to go throw up, but then you take a medicine to keep it all in. That's
right.
Right? And your body's like, well, now I got to shit it out, right? You're like, no, I'm going to take an anti-diarrheal so I don't crap it out, right? And then it's like, well, let me burn this stuff by creating a fever. And then you take an anti-fever medicine, right? A fever reducer.
Exactly it.
And then all of a sudden, your body's like, well, dude, I can't do anything else other than encapsulate this shit and turn it into cancer.
That's exactly it.
And that's what happens.
That you block the innate intelligence. The innate intelligence is your inner physician. So you gave a great example. That's what's wrong with conventional medicine.
Right.
Somebody eats a whole bunch. Let's say somebody's in Charleston, like I'm at right now, and this person had 2 pizzas. They had pasta with meatballs, they had prunes, they had sauerkraut. They just feasted last night. They wake up this morning and they have symptoms, right? Acid reflux, gas bloating. They make an appointment with their doctor and they explain all these symptoms. And the doctor goes, no worries. Here's a prescription for an antacid, anti-flatulence, and 5 other medications. But what if the doctor would have just asked, what did you eat?
What did you eat?
Don't do that again.
Yeah.
Because the symptoms, by the way, here's where I come into the play that's very different from other health educators. Symptoms that people deal with their health, and that could be cancer, diabetes, autoimmune, brain fog. I mean, there's thousands. Those are actually good things. They are gifts from your innate intelligence, showing you're out of homeostasis, that your body's check engine light. The problem is that entrepreneurs have had their check engine light for 10 years.
Yeah.
And guess what? Cancer doesn't develop overnight. It takes 10 to 20 years before a diagnosis is made. So my question to your audience is, how long has your check engine light been on? Don't mask it. Let's get to the underlying cause. And the vegetable oils and the toxicity are two good ways to get there.
I remember you telling me, like, early on, like, how is it possible that, I don't know, somebody who's a Olympian athlete almost, right? And they're running every single day and they're doing a lot of healthy stuff. How does that person get cancer, right? And then how does somebody who just eats at McDonald's every friggin' day not get cancer? What's the difference between those two?
They have a different stress bucket, right? Genetics plays a role there, but their stress bucket. Somebody's born.
You're pouring poison into a cup,
Yeah.
but somebody has a bigger cup, somebody has a smaller cup.
Correct. Yeah. So
And
some
as
people
soon as it starts overflowing is when it starts overflowing.
That's correct, right? And stress is actually really good for the body when you do it the right way. It's called hormesis, right? When you like exercise, you stress it and it gets stronger. But some people are their bucket is so full, I can't shake it. I can't, because it's overflowing. So that's the difference right there. How much stress is in your bucket? How big is your bucket? The goal is to reduce that stress bucket and then stress it around a little bit so it gets stronger.
It's more of a circumstantial stress of like cold plunges.
Yeah, cold plunges, hot exposure,
shocks your
fasting,
body.
all that. Yeah,
fasting or exercise. All those things make you stronger. It's like why wild blueberries have way more antioxidants and way more nutritional elements than something that's raised on a farm, because it's gone through these phases of hotness and freezing temperatures,
That's right.
and it creates strength in that blueberry. Our bodies are the same way.
Yeah, stress is very important in the right dosage.
In the right dosage,
you got to first reduce the stress bucket, and then you can rattle that stress bucket some
Dude,
more.
it's wild, man. It's good stuff. I get amped up whenever I talk about this.
You love it because you're living it, bro.
Yeah, well,
you're creating a legacy, right?
If you don't, go ahead.
You're creating a legacy, and you want to live way past 100, and you could easily do that. You all could easily live way past 100.
Yeah.
I think 120 should be like the bare minimum, but you got to remove the interference, otherwise your body won't heal.
Yeah, man. It's like the red pill versus the blue pill. As soon as you go down this path and understand how much shit is everywhere, you're like, I can't. Like Kate's like, what do I feed the kids? I was like, not that. We're not feeding them that shit, right? Like we got to find something else. Give them something healthy. Eat a friggin' blueberry or like it's just organic versus pesticides, right? Regular food. What is it, like 23 different kinds of pesticides or something on an apple?
Yeah, and in California wine, 64 in an average California wine.
Dude, it's like you're drinking some sort of raid.
That's exactly it.
It's what you're.
There's I know
that.
I know we're wrapping up soon, but there's MIT researcher Stephanie Seneff, and she showed with her research that when you consume glyphosate, which you're talking about, pesticides and herbicides, it actually pushes these heavy metals deeper into your tissues and bones, harder to get to. These toxins, right? So it's like a perfect storm. And when somebody gets really sick, it's not usually one thing. It's a perfect storm of things that comes together, but it takes years, not months, for that to happen.
All right, so we've scared the shit out of everybody, I'm sure. But
well, we've given you a couple of solutions there.
There's been several solutions, and so like I guess if somebody's coming to you and they're a busy entrepreneur and they're trying to figure out, man, like, dude, how do I attack? What are the big items that I can attack fairly easily and make a big difference and impact in my health, my wife's or my spouse's health, and my kids' health? Like, what are the 3 to 5 biggest impact items that you would say?
So we already named a couple of them. Number 1, remove the vegetable oils. That has to be in there. So number 1, remove that interference. Number 2, I would say practice some form of intermittent fasting. To keep it simple for your audience, an 18-6, right? Meaning 18 hours you're fasted, and then you have a 6-hour eating window. That could be 12 to 6 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., whatever it is, but have a certain eating window and a fasting window, which goes into tip number 3, which is give yourself at least 3 hours of digestion and fasting before bed. One of the worst things you can do for your health is eat and go to bed. That'll raise inflammation. It'll interfere with your sleep. You'll wake up the next day with brain fog, and you'll start your day off slow. So 3 hours of fasting before bed.
So real quick, fasting is, and you can only drink water during fasting, right?
I mean, you could have coffee and tea.
Black coffee
and tea. Some people could put fat too. It's called a fat fast. But I'm okay with that. The goal is just not to have a meal, anything that's going to raise glucose and insulin. Fat doesn't raise glucose and insulin.
So over those 18 hours. So if you're fasting for 18 hours, that essentially means you eat dinner at 6 o'clock at night. Let's call it 7 o'clock. You wrap up. You go to bed at 10, right? You didn't eat from 7 to 10, and then you don't eat the next day until essentially a late lunch.
That's correct. So you just skip breakfast.
So you skip breakfast. You eat a late lunch, and then can you snack in that interim? Like how much can you eat?
If you feel like you need to, yes. As long as you still have your window. Ideally, I don't want you to snack because we want to let your insulin levels drop. But if you're going to snack, if you're going to do it within that window, I'm okay with it.
Got it. And then not eating 3 hours before bed. All right, so those three. What else?
And then getting quality sleep, right? You have your Oura Ring and I have the Oura Ring, but getting quality sleep. And somebody could thrive off of 6 hours of sleep. Somebody needs 9 hours. But getting some sort of sleep tracker will help you understand how much deep and REM sleep you're getting. And I would say the goal would be to get 2 hours of deep and REM every single night.
Of each or
each
collectively?
So 4 hours total, right? So it doesn't matter if you say you're sleeping for 8 hours. I want to know exactly how much is REM and how much is deep, right? We're
about to find out, bro.
Let's find out.
I actually do track mine. I know.
I'll share mine from last night too. So
I only got 130 of REM, but I get 2 hours 23 minutes of deep sleep.
That's good. You're right around there, right? So I got 155 of REM and 143 of deep last night in the hotel, right? That you want to be around that ballpark.
Yeah.
So that's cool because maybe you are only sleeping 5 hours. Some entrepreneurs only want to sleep 5 hours, but if you're getting 2 hours or close to 2 hours of deep and REM, that's okay. You're still going to thrive with
that. I mean, I find that, dude, the first 2 to 3 hours of my sleep is just deep.
That's usually where it's coming from.
Yeah, and then I'm, I'll wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, I could totally wake up right now, but then for some reason I feel obligated to go back to bed, like I'm gonna be tired. But I get a lot of deep sleep and a lot of REM sleep in the first few hours of my sleep.
Most of it during the first half is going to be deep, and then the second half will be REM.
Right. Yeah, man. So, dude, just powerful stuff. Good things for people to know and people to implement right
and then a couple more before we wrap it up because you told me 5. So I would say I gave 3. Fourth one would be to add some muscle to your frame, right? Muscle is the longevity organ. The more muscle you could add on your body through strength training or however you want to do it, the better you're going to regulate glucose. The better you regulate glucose, the longer you live. So muscle. And then 5 would add to that, just move your body. Aim to get 10,000 steps, get your body up and about. So if you're doing sales calls, like walk around, find ways to get more steps in. Oh, you did that this morning?
Yeah, I was on phone calls from probably 9:30 to about 11:15 and just I walked, 4 miles while I was doing it.
I love it. There you go. So get more steps, just move your body. Those would be the 5 tips right there.
Dude, I think it's simple, right? How do people make the time to do that?
You got to commit. I mean, there's a difference between being interested in your health and being committed. When you're interested, you say, "I'll try to do that, Ben," and trying is failure with honor. When you're committed, you say, "I will do that no matter what." So you just got to commit. Yeah. Get clear on your why. When your why is strong, like Jim Rohn has said, that how becomes easier. But think about your family. Think about your predictable future with your health if you don't take care of your health right now. The cancer, the diabetes, the Alzheimer's. Because not only are you going to suffer if that's the case, your family suffers and everybody in your life suffers. What good is it scaling your business when you're scaling down your health? So get clear on why you want to get healthy for yourself and your family.
No, I couldn't agree more. And it's just, there's ways to do it, right? There's ways to double up, right? Let me grow my business while I'm working on my health, right? By taking a phone call while you're walking. Yeah. Listening to personal development stuff while I'm working out. There's things that you can do on that front. And hanging out with people that understand this stuff. Yeah. Where now you're not the odd one out who I have an allergy to vegetable oils, because guess what? I do too, and we're going out to hang out together.
Everybody at this table.
All right, last one, alcohol. What can we do on alcohol?
Yeah, so I personally don't drink. I would say this: there are worse alcohols out there, and there are alcohols that are not as bad. But all alcohol is a toxin. It's a neurotoxin. You will kill brain cells, and your liver has to detoxify every sip of alcohol, from the highest end wine to the cheapest beer. What are the worst alcohols to drink? I would say beer, because especially for men, it will create estrogen, which will aromatize and lower testosterone. So it'll take testosterone and aromatize it into estrogen, turn it into estrogen, which actually creates a lack of motivation, man boobs. And
I was going to say man boobs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And for women, of course, you don't want to be estrogen dominant because that could potentially lead to higher toxic estrogen, which leads to breast cancer. So I would say I would avoid the beer. Now, wine I would also avoid unless it's like an organic, clean wine from Europe or something like that. But most wine, like I mentioned, like California wine has 64 herbicides, pesticides in it, and it's typically cheap and going to inflame your gut. So wine and beer, I would avoid. Now, what would be the better options? I would say clear alcohol, right? Whiskey is actually clear before it goes into the barrel. So whiskey, tequila, and vodka would be better ones on the rocks. But even with that, just have in moderation, and your liver has to detoxify. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, dude, all good insights, man. I can't wait to watch your master class. Dude, proud to have you in Legacy Family. I'm going to put you on stage in Puerto Rico, dude. I think it's going to blow everybody's mind. I know it's going to, because I know it blew my mind. And every other time I've introduced you to the mastermind, everybody walks out, they're like, oh my gosh, my head's spinning, because it's so much good stuff, man. And you do a really good job of making it digestible, right? Of being able to say, hey, here's a couple things that I can implement and I can attack. Pun intended, yes. And so, but easily implementable as well. So, dude, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you,
Thank
bro.
you for being here.
Thank you, Tim.
Hey, I hope you guys got some good takeaways from that. Ben is always bringing the heat. Make sure you follow him on social. He's always dropping great knowledge, great insights, keeping me on track on the health standpoint, nutrition standpoint. So solid guy. If you guys got some takeaways, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you would, share this with somebody else. I'd love for Ben to get a little bit more exposure and get some more eyeballs, and because his work is all good stuff. He's looking to make a positive impact on people's lives. So just great guy. Appreciate you guys sharing. Appreciate you liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. So until next week, I'll see you on Spill the Beans.